All right, guys, for episode 2 of The Real Albuquerque. This is not the burrito review. Check out the burrito review with John. We just did that a few minutes ago where we reviewed Twisters and Taco Bana. I'm not going to tell you who won because you're going to have to find out.
Don't give it away.
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah. So we're all full. John just still promised to kick my ass after this so we can decalorify.
Yeah, you got to get rid of those calories. You got to burn them off. Food is energy, bro. Food is energy.
So for you guys who don't know, this is John Elder, co-owner or full owner, I'm not sure.
Co-owner.
Okay, with Kirk?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so co-owner of Stoneforge Fitness, which we're currently at. You can see the bags behind us, right? The title bags, which are a lot of fun. We're actually at the gym here. The patrons are gone for the day, so we're just going to kick it and talk here. So, my name's Chris, of course. Last week we talked with another Chris Sailor as we charged up. We went up to the Tejares Mountain in his M5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when it was snowing.
That sounds like a blast.
It was a lot of fun. We got through some rain, and then we got through some snow, and drifting around. It was a lot of fun. You'll have to check out that video. Pretty cool guy. Chris Sailor is doing the furniture superstore thing.
Oh, yeah.
So he's hustling. Why I brought John in here is because we're going over, guys, trying to help you take a chance on yourself and start a business or do something that really is going to change your world and get past fears. So we have John Elder here. He's going to tell us his story, and we're going to talk about how you started your business, everything like that. So let's give us a background. Where did you start from? I'm talking about, so let me start here first. I'm talking here, getting going. I'm all excited and fired up, guys. So I met John in college at University of New Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. We were both in the same fraternity together, and let's start off there. Now, I'll let you tell your story.
Okay.
So how did you get to here?
All right. So, let me paint you a word picture.
Yeah.
The year is 2007.
Okay.
And I've just joined a fraternity.
Wait, what year is it now? So we have some reference.
Currently, it's 2015.
Okay, so we have 8
we're
years.
We're flashing back 8 years.
Insert Well, that's the B-roll photos it may be.
So, we're going to cover a lot of time here. You're going to see. So, I was in a fraternity. I had gone to college because I didn't know what else to do after high school.
Right. That's just what society and the status quo says you have to do, right?
That's what I was taught is you finish high school and you go to college. And that's what you do. Well, you join the army, which I didn't want to do. So I went to college and I picked a major that I didn't really have passion for.
Which was?
English.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason I picked it was because the only teacher that I really connected with or got along with really well in high school was my basically 10th through 12th grade English teacher. I had him every year. I kept picking him. So that was the only reason I went that direction. But I didn't have any passion for it, and I didn't have any drive for it.
Right.
As a result, I was one of those classic cases where I spent my college career skipping class to go to parties and chase girls and do all the irresponsible stuff that people look forward to in college without doing any of the stuff you're supposed to do while you're there.
Living the American dream.
Exactly. So I missed a lot of class. And so college didn't end up panning out for me. And about 2010, I started working instead. I just got a crummy job waiting tables at a restaurant.
And I remember those days.
Mm-hmm. So the money was quick and easy, and my bills weren't, outrageous. I didn't have anyone else that I was supporting. So
right.
It was enough to live off of, and it was enough to continue supporting the hobbies that I had developed in college.
Right. Paying the bills, funding the fun, right?
Exactly. But, again, my life wasn't really going anywhere, and I started to see that pretty quickly. I used to weigh about 280 pounds.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we can get, a flash picture in here on the side.
Yeah, we'll slide in that picture of that.
The stock image of me at 280.
The stock image.
So I was at about 280 pounds, and I was really unhappy with myself and my life.
Now that's unhappy body image-wise, just general unhappiness, right?
General unhappiness. I didn't have any direction.
We're talking about career, body image, mental, right? That's all mental and physical, right?
Oh yeah. Which of course, it influenced my confidence levels, which influenced my
decision-making.
Yeah, my decision-making, my ability to, talk to women and find somebody that I wanted to be with. All of that was affected by this.
Right.
So
was it mainly affected by the career or your physical body image that you weren't happy with? Or maybe a little bit of both?
I think it came from everywhere. Yeah.
You couldn't probably split that into a 50-50 thing, but you're saying just general Just general everywhere.
In general, yeah. I was just unhappy with my life, unhappy with the direction I was going.
Okay.
So, my roommate at the time, who is currently my business partner,
Kirk Capel. I think we're going to get Kirk on an episode here. He has a different story, but still very interesting.
He and I were living together, and he had noted that I was unhappy with my body image and everything like that. And Kirk's always been more into fitness, so he suggested to me to get a gym membership where he had one at, and I did that.
Okay.
I got the gym membership at one of the local gyms here.
Yeah, we'll not mention names. We'll skip that.
And I actually signed up on that day for a personal trainer because it was like, I need some help. I really need some help to get myself going in the right direction.
Now, this is looking back at it now, you probably say, well, maybe I could have done without the personal trainer. I just needed to make a positive habit where I showed up every day and kicked my ass.
Well, that's what I needed more than anything. But I needed the accountability partner.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
There are lots of times where I could have done research on the internet to figure out the exercises I should do, or this program versus that program. But what I needed was somebody who I had paid money to, or I had a reason to show up. I felt compelled to be there.
Yeah, they call this in life, you need a reason why.
Exactly.
Your why reason was, in yours, it's simple as I paid money, which you feel on your bank account, and you feel that loss. So you want to.
So you want to get what you paid for.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So your simple why was just, hey, I spent some money here, but that got you started in where you needed to go. So that's interesting.
It did.
Everybody has different whys, so that's why I bring that out.
So I signed up for the personal trainer, and I ended up making a connection with the gentleman. His name was Wilton Rogers.
Okay, we know Wilton. Yeah, great guy.
We know Wilton. He's a fantastic guy. He was my personal trainer, and soon enough, after all of that happened, he went out and with some partners of his own started his own gym.
Right.
And I was still going through my weight loss journey at the time.
The transformation.
2011, in that range.
What were you down now? Were you maybe 270 or 260?
I was in the 250 range at this point, so I'd seen significant loss, but I was definitely nowhere I wanted to be.
Right. It's kind of interesting to bring up this this weight loss stuff and habits and your why. You bring up a good point, because what I found on the same journey that you found, almost in the same time, my journey started in 2013. End of 2012, 2013, same time frame. But the hardest part for me, and you probably would agree with this, is just getting that positive habit of, okay, so you worked 9-10 hours a day, right? You come home. I'd come home and I'd lay in my bed and be like, damn it, do I really want to go to the gym?
Exactly.
I spent the $40 to go to the gym, right? And that gym that you're talking about, I did yoga there. And you're like, you just like sit there and stare off. It's like, I could just lay here so nice. It feels so good, right?
It's so easy.
Right? And then you're like, okay, I have to do this. So I got up, and after that thing, and I went to the gym. And, you feel better at the gym. There's never a day that I've gone to yoga or the gym or kicked my own ass at running or something and said, I shouldn't have done that.
Never.
There's no negative thing like, or when you buy a burrito like we talked about, or you have maybe too much indulgence in anything, you're like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. In fitness, I've never found that.
No. There's a saying that's like, the hardest part of going to the gym is going to the gym.
Yeah.
And once you get there, I mean, you're already there, you're already committed, and you're going to get it done.
And you feel good once you get there.
Exactly. So and once you finish it, you feel like you've accomplished something.
Right.
You never walk away from the gym saying, well, I worked really hard, and that was stupid.
Right.
I've never had that.
No, you always feel good. And so the progress over time is very hard, because one of the things that you get with this habit of going to the gym is these results may take years. Just like starting a business, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes with John. But, success in weight loss or anything in life doesn't just happen overnight. Now, you may see people who have that success, but which is very few.
Yeah.
Because you don't see the backstory, all you see is the glory. Mark Zuckerberg, he did Facebook, but he also had multiple sites that didn't work.
You don't see
the hard work.
The time
you just see the external. You just see the external pleasures and the external glory.
You see once he's made it,
right?
And you see a glorified version of how he got there.
Yeah.
But you don't see the day in, day out grind.
Right.
You don't see the keeping your nose into a computer programming, or in the weight loss, the getting to that treadmill at 5 a.m. because you don't have any other time in the day.
Or Will Smith, you see him all jacked in that one movie with the zombies or the vampires or whatever it was.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend, good movie. I don't know, a good movie.
Yeah.
But he was all jacked in that movie. And if you ever know anything about Will Smith or these other guys, they just grind out all the time. He said, if you go next to him in a treadmill, he's not going to get off the treadmill until you do.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to keep going, and we'll talk about that, the 40% rule that we learned this week. We'll talk about it later. So we got this is a pretty good episode. We should have fun here. Okay, we took a tangent, pretty deep tangent, but it worked out. Coming full circle, you don't see the hard work. Most of these people see just the results. And I was telling my mom, who's going through this process now, I'm going to the gym, is, Mom, you just got to go every day or 6 times a week or 5. You got to go a lot of times a week, do your thing, and over time you're going to see a change.
Exactly.
Right? So you saw 30 pounds, which you may have not noticed at 280. I'm not sure.
It didn't feel like a lot, is the thing. I had somewhere that I wanted to be so badly that I kind of lost sight of the journey as I was looking for the destination.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so at that time, at 2011, I had only lost the 30 pounds, and I wanted so much more. Mm-hmm. Well, like I was saying at that time, Wilton had gone off and gone to his own gym where he was an owner.
Right.
And so he messaged me on Facebook and he said, look, if you come over here and check out our gym instead of the gym you're at currently, I'll work with you. I'll do some free one-on-one sessions with you.
That's great.
So it was a win-win situation because I already had a rapport built with him.
And you had your accountability.
Uh-huh.
Which you said you needed. Your why was there because you got the membership, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's good.
So I transferred over there, and this was a completely different kind of gym than I'd ever been to. The entire premise of the gym was based on group fitness classes. Mm-hmm. So I had always been one of those guys, go to the gym, and 4 days out of 5 that you find him there, he's doing bench press.
Right.
That was what else do you do? You're the guy. Here it is. Boom, boom. Maybe some leg press. I don't know. Get some shoulder raises in, then call it a day.
Right.
So I started taking some of these group fitness classes when I joined this new gym.
These are highly cardio-based or high intervals, stuff like this.
High interval training, circuit training.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I fell in love with it. It's such an inspiring concept for fitness to have all of these people in the same room doing the same workout, working on the same goal. Everyone has the same goal. Whether they want to be bigger, they want to be smaller, whether they want to have better cardio shape, their goal is to be more fit and more happy with their body. That's everyone's end game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm picturing a visual here of, anything in life, you're always going up the mountain, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. And you go up the mountain so you can see the rest of the world, not so people can see you, obviously. But at the top of the mountain, which is, you losing weight, maybe for them it's getting faster or gaining weight, which is, converse, maybe they're smaller, want to add muscle. But everybody's still on that same step. Mm-hmm. They're at elevation 1,000, trying to make it to elevation 2,000, right?
Exactly.
That's interesting.
So it was just a fun and inspiring way to get your workout in. So I fell in love with it, and Wilton, as time went along, he kept helping me transform my own body. And eventually I kind of reached a breaking point where I had an aha moment one day where I said, what I do currently, which at the time I was still waiting tables, I was, how I kind of looked at it was my role in society was insignificant. Like what I did was not something that made a difference for people.
Interesting.
Is how I felt. That was just for me personally. And I said, Wilton made a difference in my life, and that's something that I want to do. I want to make a difference in people's lives. I want to inspire them. I want them to get what they want, and I want to help them to it. So in July of 2013, I actually took some classes and got some certifications to become a group fitness instructor and personal trainer. And
we're talking, you shout out the certificates. I don't know the names anymore.
Well, I got my...
Is it ACT?
It's ACE, actually. ACE, the American Council on Exercise. That is my national accreditation as a personal trainer.
Okay.
And then my group fitness class certification that I got was actually a training through the local gym to teach their styles and formats of classes.
Interesting.
At that time. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I did. I took that step. It helped a lot that, again, Kirk Capel, my current partner,
Right.
he's been sort of there with me the whole way in my fitness journey. Not necessarily in the same place, but always working with me, always
Right.
being a part of it. He had found out about the gym through me,
Right.
and had already become an instructor there, and it was something that he had
Interesting.
fallen in love with as well.
Yeah.
So it helped me to know that I had that there. Not only that it was something that I wanted, but that someone that I was really close to was succeeding at it, and it was like a role model and inspiration, like you can do this.
Right, and there's kind of some I don't know how to phrase this properly, but if my friend can do it, it makes it more believable that you can do it.
Absolutely.
Right, it's not some like C.T. Fletcher type guy or some guy who's like a world legend guy like Arnold Schwarzenegger doing it, or Will Smith. We know he can do it.
This is a guy who had been.
It's a real person.
He had been cutting classes with me and making bad decisions all through our adolescence.
He's also
the same way.
He was also in our fraternity.
He was, yeah.
So we've been great friends for a while. And this is about time you also started teaching there, right?
Mm-hmm. So I started teaching there right about then, and I just kept my nose to the grinder. I would pick up and substitute any class that they would let me. I advertised for myself, trying to get myself new clients.
Right.
I asked them to run promotions for me. I asked for help, all because, in order to pay the bills, I had still had my other job at that time.
Right.
And I wanted to make the break. I wanted to be, self-sustaining in
100%
just
at
this
the gym.
field. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it took a little bit of time. It didn't happen overnight, but I would say about 6 months in.
Okay.
6 months in,
maybe, is this 2014 now, maybe?
Yes. Yeah, we're in March of 2014.
Okay, which is, okay. So about a year and a half ago.
I had finally landed enough clients and I was teaching enough classes that I said, you know what, if you're careful and you watch your finances, you can walk away from this. And, who knows? Take that out of the equation, you have more time to devote to this, maybe you can make up even more of the difference.
Right.
And so I took the leap.
That was the case, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
I took the leap and I said, this is what I want to do. So I started spending all of my time at the gym. I didn't have to wait tables anymore.
Right, basically if there was a cot back there, you'd just stay there, right?
Exactly. I was there 24/7.
I remember this, this is about a time in 2013, I started going there, taking Kirk's classes, and then eventually you took over Kirk's class. I remember that transition, and I was taking your class for a long time.
Exactly.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I saw the commitment there, and I saw your change over time too, because we were all there every time, every week. Yeah, it's interesting.
It was a good experience. It was, and then
fortunately that gym had closed, so now you're back to waiting tables, or what happened there?
Well, okay, so this year, 2015,
right,
March. I'd been working at the gym, only at the gym for year and a half now.
Right.
And disaster struck. The finances for the gym weren't where they needed to be.
Well, this is all hearsay too, but they ended up closing, right?
The doors ended up closing, and that was the end all and be all of it. So, I had a little bit of money put away, and one of the wonderful things about personal training is if you're creative and you have just a little bit of equipment, and weather permitting, of course, outside, I was able to keep most of my clients.
Yeah, well, this is March, April, so we're coming into our rainy season here in New Mexico,
exactly.
Right? But we still have a lot of sunny days. I think we have 300 plus sunny days here.
Yeah, so there was training in garage, there was training outside, there were classes in the park, just to try and kind of keep my income coming in. But I was definitely feeling the sting, because more and more people were, feeling like, this is not a legitimate thing, I don't want to train out of someone's garage, I'm spending good money on this, I want to do it like the right way.
Right, yeah, you want to be here.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it was a issue that my clients had that I had to respect as a provider.
Right.
And originally, Kirk and I both, we had tried to stay loyal to the gym that we were at.
Right.
We wanted to stay there, but we kind of reached a point in time where our finances had fallen off so much that we said, it's time to make a move. We have to
something's
do
got to change. You can't wait on somebody else to get their act together so you can still do your thing, right?
Exactly. So at that point, I said to Kirk, if we're going to be building something from the ground up,
Which is basically what you're doing.
Which is
when you're at that gym, you're building your clientele from zero, right? You're doing all these ads on
Exactly.
Facebook. I remember seeing those. You had your banners, you had your poster things on the gym.
Well,
I remember those.
That and, if we were to stick with our original gym, when they opened a new facility, we'd have to, regain client trust, and we'd have to bring new clients in.
And you have to explain what happened,
Exactly.
and then you don't want to do all that nonsense.
Exactly.
Right?
So either way, we're building something from the ground up.
It's yours.
And I said, if we're going to do it from the ground up, why not do it for ourselves?
Right.
Why not go out and make our own?
Well, that's a good point. In being an entrepreneur and owning your own business, doing this kind of stuff, all the 100% work that you do, you feel the benefits of.
Exactly.
Right? You're, they have a good phrase and saying is you can either be building someone else's dream, or you can either be making someone else's dream become a reality, or you can be making your own dream become a reality.
Yeah.
And you're taking the opposite route. You're making your own dream become a reality. You're building this thing from the bottom. I mean, maybe even below bottom.
Drake was up here when he started.
Yeah.
He started from the bottom.
Yeah.
I started underneath.
Yeah, you started like at the mantle. Anybody knows their earth science, geology, mantle below the crust, right? You started at the bottom or below that.
Oh yeah, you had to take an elevator down to where we started.
You didn't even have escalators. You had to walk it.
Not yet.
Take the hard route. Okay. So you're building his business out of the garage, out of the parks, out of the stuff. How did you take the leap in saying, okay, now we need to get real serious and get a storefront and this actual location that we're at, which we'll get some B-roll footage of you guys for so you can see. How did you, because we come down to all this stuff of the status quo and society saying you got to go to college. But not everybody, I'm saying this now, not everybody has to go to college. You can do this, if you did this at 18, where would you be now?
That's a really good question.
Right?
And the truth of it is, I wouldn't be here right now where I am in this gym if it weren't for
all the stuff that happened before.
Exactly. In particular, there's one connection, one friendship that I made, and this is just proof positive that if you do the things that you love in life, that you'll get where you want to be. Because this gym that I fell in love with, it was all made possible by our third silent partner. His name is Brian Thomason. And Brian is an old friend of mine, about 6-7 years back.
Baseball Brian?
Exactly.
Okay.
I've been playing baseball with since I was younger.
Wow.
And
I didn't know he's a third partner here.
Yeah.
Well, I never talked to you about that.
Even before I had this gym, even before I had the dream of the gym, even before I knew I wanted to be in a gym.
Right.
I was fostering this friendship that I made just because I was doing something that I loved after high school, which was continuing to play baseball.
Right.
And
Brian, by the way, is a great guy. If you're watching this, Brian, thumbs up, dude. Great guy.
Absolutely. So that connection and that relationship helped me get this door open, because without that third partner, we wouldn't have been able to do this.
Right.
And so here we are today. All I did was do the things I love in life, and I've been afforded opportunities that I had to work hard for.
Yeah, no,
but
yeah.
That they were opportunities that were given to me because I was willing to work hard and because people trusted me.
And you were willing to take a chance on yourself, right?
Exactly.
No one just rained down and said, no success fairy came down and said, bam, you're destined for success and being on your entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Here's a gym, just open the doors and let the money fall in, right?
I didn't trip on the street and fall into a pair of keys and open up a gym and be like, oh, well, I guess this is what I'm doing.
Oh, cool.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
A Corvette. Vanna White.
Vanna White. That's interesting you bring it up, because I think about this often too, and everybody has their own story when you hear about starting a business or just being generally successful or happy or whatever the case may be. Everybody has their own story, and I've thought about this a lot. When you're at the gym grinding, or you're taking a shower, or you're driving, and you have all this time when your body and your brain actually compresses and thinks about the day. Those times where you're just like, oh shit, that's how I solve this problem that you're doing, or whatever. That's another topic. But I've been thinking about this. Your whole journey builds you to this point. Right? And you brought up a good point, is if you had this at 18, you wouldn't even know what to do with it.
I wouldn't. I would have probably messed it up.
Right.
I would have.
Business would have failed.
Yeah.
Right? And then maybe you had lost some relationships with vendors or financiers or whatever the case may be, and now you got to redo this again. So it's interesting, guys. You all have this point in time where you all know it. You knew it. I know that from times when I do my things, that this is the time to take a chance on yourself, pull the trigger, and what the hell? What's the worst that can happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're You're already at the bottom.
Here I am, you know?
Yeah.
The only thing that I could do is try and change something for the better.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's all comes through hustle and working.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't get anywhere without, you know...
And that's kind of a double entendre, because in the gym sense, you have to do that as well, too. I mean, if you're going to be lifting, 5-pound weights...
You're not going to make progress.
You're there, present and accounted for.
Yeah.
Doing the work, air quotes, of course, but you're not going to see any results because you're kind of just half-assing it, right? So if you go at least 100%, which is almost impossible, but if you give a large percentage of work and dedication to this thing and be at the gym all the time, and like you said, you're hustling in the garages and grass and taking a chance on yourself, things are going to happen.
It's like that old saying that, the journey of 1,000 steps begins with a single step.
Right. We talked about that earlier.
I'd want to amend that, because I would say that the journey of 1,000 steps begins with a single step, but it takes 1,000 steps.
Yeah, you can't just
take the one. You have to take them all.
You saying that on my Fitbit I can't just go 1 step and boom?
No, it's not there.
1,000? No?
One jumping jack. Call it a day.
I'm good.
I swam a lap yesterday. I can eat a pizza today. That's not how it works.
Okay. So you took a chance. You had your partners come in here and help you with this, right? Mm-hmm. So what made you say, snap, let's do this thing. Let's take this chance? Because I remember what happened. This is, okay, when did you start this first thing? Let's start, actually. We're getting a lot ahead. I'm getting fired up. What made you snap and change and say, hey, let's really get committed 100%. Let's get property going. Let's get with Brandon Saylor, which we'll talk about in a future episode. He does commercial real estate. Also started from the bottom.
So, like I said, that relationship with Brian Thomason.
Right.
He came to me and he said, if you're serious about doing this thing, come up with a number. Figure out what you would need just to get it started.
Yeah, you need a business plan. You need some sort of plan.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what he told me. He said, come up with a number and come back to me.
You can't say, Brian, help me start a gym.
Yeah, and I never really came from a whole lot of means. My family, I wouldn't say that we were poor, but, there were definitely things that we went without.
Right.
As I was growing up. And so the idea of someone just having, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 to expend,
on your dream,
on my dream, it dumbfounded me at first. I didn't honestly believe that he was
serious,
willing to do that. And then when he said, "Come up with a number, let me know."
If you said 50,000, maybe he couldn't help you.
Exactly.
But if you say I need 5,000 or 6,000, maybe he said, okay, I own 33%, you own 33%, Kirk owns 33%. Let's do this.
Yeah. So it became a real opportunity when he said, "I'll help out with the financial end." There was nothing left for me to make an excuse about. That was the only thing that could have stopped me in that moment. Because everything else I can do myself.
Yeah, you can teach the classes.
Mm-hmm.
You can open it up. Actually, you need to be teaching the classes and building a brand for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. So, one of the most, I think, valuable things that I have going for me as an entrepreneur and in life is that I'm not afraid to ask for help.
Interesting.
When I needed help getting my body in the right way, I found a personal trainer. I asked for the help. When my gym needed funding, Brian came to me. He said, let's do it. And I didn't shy away from that opportunity. I didn't say, no, that's too much, or, oh, I can't do it. It makes me feel ashamed.
Right.
I took the help, and I went with it. And now, as I've become an entrepreneur and handling my own business, when I come across an issue, for example, let's say accounting, I don't have an accounting background at all.
Or a degree, or even
credit,
debits, all this stuff. What do you mean time value, money, and all this?
Cash in and cash out. But
you just know cash flows.
So I said to myself, as a business owner, I know that accounting is important.
Right.
And I don't know accounting. So I went out and I found an accountant because I found someone that was willing to help me get what I needed done. So,
and your time is more valuable in front of actual patrons, building your image and what's called loyalty, right? You don't need to be back behind a desk worrying about, gross receipts tax and all this, W-2s and stuff for your teachers.
Exactly.
You don't need to be worried about that.
See, and I want to be able to do that because this is my business and because I feel, responsible for it. I want all the time to be able to do everything I can for it.
Right.
But I won't be so stubborn or so proud as to say, I know in my head I can't do this, but I'm not going to let anyone else do it either.
Right.
When I know that I've reached a limit on something, I stop myself and I say, look, go to your help, go to your team, go to the support that you have
Right.
that'll help you keep this thing right.
That's interesting. We see this a bunch of, and I'll reference, have you ever seen those bar rescue shows? Mm-hmm. Or Gordon Ramsay's Hotel Hell, or the Gordon Ramsay restaurant shows? Where he goes in these, they have those businesses that suffer. You see this a lot. Failing. He comes in there, the bar rescue guy, Gordon Ramsay, going there from an outside view. And these guys have built, $1 million businesses. Yeah. This is their thing.
Global brands.
Yeah, this is what they do. I know how to run the shit out of a bar. I know how to run the shit out of a restaurant. I'm a Michelin 5-star chef, whatever the case is. And you see every episode. I've never seen an episode, and they may probably pick it this way, but I've never seen an episode where the guy was like, okay, I generally need help. I'm not going to fight you on anything. Just help me.
Just show me what to do.
Usually it's a battle for the first 15, 20 minutes, probably because of ratings and all that stuff. I get it. But generally speaking, these people don't want to seek help, and that's why they're in the position they're in. So that's an interesting, good point.
They've gotten themselves into the hole that they're in because they insist that they can do something on their own.
And that's not where their talents lie.
And there's so many facets to running a business.
Right.
That it takes a truly special and a truly educated individual in the field.
Right.
In order to be able to handle every facet of it.
Right.
Maybe
there's a time you probably will know it all.
I walked into this thing with a talent for the product.
Right.
That's what I walked into it. I have experience in what the product is,
right.
And I have a talent for getting people in here, and I have a drive to help people. Now that's more than enough to be an employee anywhere.
Right.
But to be a business owner, that's not everything.
Yeah, but that's interesting.
And I need to find a way to fill that gap.
Yeah, but this is best use of time, too. You don't want to be back there wasting your valuable time, which could be spent on, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Groupon, whatever, building your brand, because that's what you do. That's where your time needs to be spent. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be back here worrying about why the printer's not connected wirelessly or something like that,
Yeah.
Or why can't we print this, or gross receipt tax or whatever. So that's interesting. No one's brought that up yet. We didn't talk about that with Chris last week, but interesting you brought that up. So now we're actually, we got the money, we got you, we have Kirk. Kirk took a while to get on board, right? He did. He didn't just jump and say, "Let's do this." I remember there's a few months.
There was a little bit of a space there, yeah.
We'll maybe go into when we talk to Kirk why he had some reservations, but we'll talk with him about that. So now we have everything lined up. Now we're dealing with Brandon Saylor, which we'll have in another episode. He's a personal friend, and he got the property, the location lined up. Mm-hmm. So really, this whole thing came down to not having the capital. That was your excuse. That was your out, right?
That was my out.
And you, maybe, okay, let's say hypothetically Brian didn't pan out and you didn't find financing. Would you have, it's easy to say now, yes, you would have because you know what the potential is. But really, would you have gone and fought for financing? Would you go to 50 banks to try to get this loan if that's what it took? I mean, I'm just curious. These are all hypothetical, of course.
I mean, I would have to say, if I'm being honest, no. Okay. And the reason for that is, just given the circumstances of my life and how they've played out thus far, right. I did go to college, and I collected quite a bit of student loan debt that,
right.
Isn't fully repaid yet. My credit is not in the best condition.
Right.
So I think that, had it not worked out the way it did, it would have been hard for me to resist the urge to say, just feel defeated. It would have been hard to walk away from that feeling. And I'm sure I would have walked out of it eventually, but I don't know that I would have walked out of it the same direction.
Right.
I might have walked out of it into a new opportunity.
Well, that's also true, too.
Yeah.
But you don't think, honestly, that you would have gone out and still fought for this thing? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer here. This is just all kind of thinking.
No,
don't you ever think about this and stuff like, well, what if Brian didn't work out? What if I never even met Wilton? What if I just spent the money and just laid in bed? I mean, all those things kind of like you think about.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They are. They're things that go through my mind from time to time. But I guess at the end of the day, I try and spend more time focusing on what did happen. Where the reality is right now.
Yeah.
Because especially when I was younger, I used to spend a lot of time daydreaming about the things that I did want.
Yeah.
And
I can feel it, right?
If I can say for certain, there's one thing that doesn't help you get where you want to be, it's dreaming about it.
Interesting. Well,
you have to want something enough that you don't. I kind of equate dreaming to a passive want. Okay?
Interesting.
Daydreaming in particular, it's something really different to want something with your hands behind your head while your head's on a pillow and thinking, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, you want to be on the beach like the Corona commercials,
Exactly.
right?
Wanting something like that is passive, as opposed to an active want, which is, you know what, this is what I want. What are the steps? What's the research? Where do I need to be? How do I get there?
Interesting. I haven't heard it said like that, a passive or an active want. Interesting. So, yeah, there's difference, obviously. If you have a game plan, and, you know, this game plan could be 1,000 steps, as you said, but step one is wake up and get out of bed and write down step two, right? Step two would probably be get 5 more clients. Step three is, you know, finding funding.
Absolutely.
Step 20 is like expanding, which you said you're going to maybe be doing here in the next few weeks.
We are hoping to.
So you're maybe on step 50 right now.
Maybe, yeah. But
we just don't know.
But and the beauty in that is that I can go back and think about step one all over again, and I can say, well, what happened if I had stepped left?
Right.
I could do that if I wanted. But what's more important to me right now is step one was 49 steps ago.
Yeah.
What's step 51?
Or even
You know?
further, what's step 70? Because your competition's getting smarter just as you're getting smarter.
Oh yeah.
I mean, fitness is a very much like beauty products, everything, very competitive industry.
It is. It is very, very competitive.
I don't want to say that anybody can do this, but there's a lot of people who can have likability and can build brands around them that can work out,
Definitely.
right? I don't know if I said that right.
I think you said it very well. And I've seen some of that already in our business. You know, our business is basically in its infancy.
Right.
You know, we're 4 months in, but we've seen competitors start lining up. You know, we added a dance class at Thursday at 7, and
Right.
then another gym added a dance class on Thursday
Right, yeah,
at
you
7.
can kind of see the market
Yeah.
change. So I'm with you there.
So people are paying attention, you know,
Right.
and maybe they don't think of us as a threat yet, and maybe maybe we shouldn't think of them as a threat. Maybe that's not what it is, but there are definitely signs that people are watching.
Yeah.
You know
what's kind of cool? There's always something about being the underdog, is because you end up being the underdog. You end up at the very end when the net. 20, 30 years from now, when you're at the very end, you're gonna have a better and funner. Better's not a better. Is that a good word? You're gonna have a better and a more fun journey and story to tell.
I think so.
Perhaps than if you were not big box, but more of a corporate route, like franchise, maybe. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a better story, and you're gonna have a more fight, and you have to fight for this.
My story.
Some people just get handed this handed to them in a sense where they take over a franchise that already has a built name around it. Whether it's Bikram or something like that, where they have already a following, they already have a tribe. Now you have to build your own tribe, and that's gonna be a lot of fun.
And
you're gonna go unnoticed, so you can do a lot of different stuff. Who cares?
A lot of people could put down the franchise money and put a Bikram studio up, like you said. And there are already so many people in any given area. They're like, oh, I know Bikram.
Right.
So they can go there and they can get the product that they know and the product that they like.
Right.
But our product, Stone Forge Fitness, it's brand new.
Right.
And people don't necessarily know what to expect, and we don't have that kind of awareness. And
the cult following.
Nothing is given yet.
Yeah, the
we
tribe.
still have to go out and earn all of that.
Yeah, the tribe is still being built. Mm-hmm. Your cult following and tribe. Very interesting. I like how you brought that back of not thinking in the past and thinking in the future. I get split. Sometimes I get split, and sometimes I'm like, well, I always think about the future. You have to have 1-year goals, 3-month goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals. We learned that last week with Chris. He talked about goals a lot and how to set them, and how, it's like flying a plane or being a boat captain. If you don't have a map, where the hell are you going?
Right.
We talked about that. You just can't get in you never get on a plane and say, we're going to reach 40,000 feet, throw some peanuts at you, and then when we kind of get low on gas, we're going to
take it down and see where we go.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Hopefully Cabo's somewhere nearby, right?
Yeah, right. So it's interesting, but I don't know whether it's right or wrong. I kind of get split, and sometimes you think about what if, and I know it's not the right way to do it, but, sometimes you get caught in that.
Yeah, and you do. Those what ifs, they can be killers,
Well, and they could be good because you see the what if pan out in the opposite way, and you're like, what if I did go and get married to that girl, or what if I did get discouraged at the bank loan? I'd be somewhere else. But then you kind of get excited and like, man, it's all going the right way.
Yeah, everything. I believe, always have believed, everything works out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
There's a plan out there,
right.
Regardless of your belief system or what have you.
Right.
There is a plan and it's in place, and you're probably right where you're supposed to be. wherever you are in life, you know?
Yeah, and I've seen you change over time, over these, 8 years or 9 years, whatever it's been, and it's kind of cool. You've grown from, like you said, that guy at 280 to something who can be proud of who you are now, right? Probably being accurate here. But I see the external wise. You're happy, you're excited, and it all kind of started, man. Really, when I saw you at the gym.
Yeah, and
it's really interesting.
I think that is
something
where it all
changed in your mindset. You see some positive results. Things started moving and shaking right in the right direction.
I can honestly say I believe the gym was the first time in my life that I felt like I had the ability or the power to make progress in my own life. Everything up to that life had been so subjective. You
couldn't control it because you got hired at this restaurant.
Exactly.
And not this one, right?
Or
not that business. John's sick, and he's promised not to get me sick, so hopefully you guys can get sick on the interwebs. Can they get sick over
we can definitely pass this virally.
Through YouTube?
This will go viral, I
this
promise.
will go viral? Okay.
No, everything in my life up to that point had felt so passive. Like, I was born where I was born. I went to the schools I went to school at. I applied at UNM because of the lottery scholarship only. I didn't even try and apply at other schools. It was the only school I applied to. So I went to UNM because I got in at UNM.
Right.
My whole life had been so passive, and then...
It's just like, hey, I'm president accounted for, let's go through the ropes, let's go through the motions, right?
Exactly.
Interesting.
I'm here, let's do it.
Right.
But now, and it did. It started at the gym where I said, this is something that I want for me, and I learned to work at it and get there.
I've felt this change, and probably anybody who's ever been to a gym in long duration, in the sense that, more than a week or, more than the January 1st New Year's resolution type stuff. I don't know if you're laughing or coughing. But, something changes. Working out, just in general, guys, you probably know this, or doing yoga or something like that, is a powerful vehicle to change. Mm-hmm. Because when you have somebody yelling at you, to do 10 push-ups or 20 or whatever the case is, and you have other people, I always felt that, if that guy can do it, why can't I do it? When you're in this class or in yoga, and you're fighting this mental battle of give the fuck up and go home, right? Or just quit, right? You're fighting that battle all the time.
All the time. I still fight that battle.
Yeah, we all
every
do.
day.
We all do. I don't know if that ever goes away.
I've gotten into distance running, half marathons, 10Ks.
I saw the 13.1 on the sticker, or on the car, right?
And, so right now I'm training to do a full.
Nice.
And it's every time I step out there, sometimes it'll hit me at mile 1, sometimes it'll hit me at mile 8, and I'll say, dude, you're done. Just stop. Go, no more running. Like, your legs hurt, your feet are blistered. Like, go home.
Right.
And so... it's not just a day one thing. It's not just I'm not where I want to be yet thing. I'm 3 years in. I'm a gym owner.
But you're 3 years in on it. You're 3 years in on maybe a 30-year journey.
Exactly.
So that's a microcosm of the macrocosm of just doing the little things. But you get breakdown and you get external pressures too. We didn't talk about external pressures of friends and people saying, "Oh, you're still doing the gym thing."
Yeah.
I'm sure you get that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or you get some criticism there, but maybe a year from now, when you're in a bigger place, or 2 years when you're in a bigger place, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're doing the gym thing. Well, that's cool. When can I come work for you?
Yeah. When can I have a job?
Yeah. When can I? Do you have any openings? So that's going to change over time, and you'll see that, which is interesting. But now you're getting the pressures of people not really believing and buying into the or drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak. But that's not on them. You can get through this just through hustle. You can break down these things with hustle and not letting your mind and what they say, stop you from doing the extra push-ups or coming in and showing up and having fun, right?
Exactly.
So it's all mental. And every time you do this stuff, you get mentally stronger. When you do the 8 miles and your body says, just give up and go to Taco Bell and hang out, right? But you go that extra mile, you take the next step, and you're like, okay, now body, we can do this. Yeah,
and you say to yourself, one of the biggest things I like to reinforce both with my clients and even with myself is, if it's not hurting, you're not doing enough. The only way to expand your limits is to try and push past them.
Right.
If you think about, it's kind of like banging your head against a wall.
Right. It's something to do.
It's not, depending on what how you're banging your head against the wall. It may not be the most healthy thing, but if you start just kind of hitting that one spot over and over again, at first you're going to take some lumps. You're going to be like, I'm not getting anywhere. What am I doing this for? But then if you keep working at it and working at it, eventually the things that are holding you back, they'll start to give because you don't.
Yeah.
And then you push through eventually. And then that barrier, that prison that you're in, whatever it is, it expands.
Right. Now you have a bigger thing.
Bigger thing, but then there's going to be another wall eventually if you keep pushing.
Right. But you have a bigger space, and now you're not the same person you was as you entered in before, and you're changing. And I think a better example is if you, I've heard this, and I think we talked about it last week, not sure, so don't quote me on this, but if you have a big tree and you take 5 whacks out of the day, eventually that tree's going to come down. May not be tomorrow.
Exactly.
May not be a month from now.
That is probably a better example. Please, I'm not condoning going and hitting your head against the wall.
Enter disclaimer here. But, that's what you're trying to say in better words.
Exactly, yeah.
Eventually it's going to come down. So that's interesting. That's worth noting. All this stuff, the vehicle for change. So if you are having problems, maybe it could start with just going to the gym.
It could. Yeah, that could be the answer, and I know a great one. Yeah. Actually.
Are we currently at one?
We're in a great one.
If you're in Albuquerque, definitely would love you to stop by and check out Stoneforge. Great place.
www.stoneforgefit.com.
Okay, insert obligatory advertisement, right?
Oh, yeah. Insert plug here. Have to put it in there.
Right.
People want to know. They may want to know.
Right, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. We'll go over that at the very end. We'll still have a few more minutes, maybe. So what's the future? How are you still staying positive and building this thing? Because,
well, I think it kind of comes back to what you said that you and Chris were talking about last week, which is its goals. One of our very early on goals was to get the doors open. And,
right.
We managed to, from the day we got the keys to the day we opened doors, took us 10 days.
Right.
And we came in and we cranked out work.
Yeah, this floor is new. You can't see it. We'll do some B-roll shots here in a few minutes.
Yeah, the flooring, the walls, the paint, the mirrors.
Okay, let's bring up this point. We're going to take this just came to mind, so we're going to go down this road about the floor. Tell me about the floor. What about when we had that crazy flood and everything looked like this whole place was going to fall apart?
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so why I'm saying this is, guys, this is not all cherry. It's not just, like you said, you tripped on the curb, got a keys to the gym, and everything's been champagne falling from the ceiling. We know that, right? But tell us about some opposition you had with the floor and the rain, and how you got past that mentally and maybe physically.
That fits into where we're talking about perfectly, because literally we spent 10 days getting this place up and ready, and when you get a chance to see the floors, what is
this, bamboo or walnut or something?
No, it's ash, I think.
Oh, okay, I don't know what that is.
We hired a friend of mine to come and help us install it. He worked for a floor installation company.
Okay.
But so basically, we paid him to show us how to do it, and he helped us with the cutting and getting everything to fit right.
Oh, wow. You did this yourself?
Kirk and I slapped on about half these boards ourselves.
That's what I'm taking. You built this literally.
With our 2 hands, we put this floor together.
That's why it means so much, right?
Yeah, and our grand opening day, opening goes off without a hitch. And then
we have some torrential rainstorms in here in Albuquerque. Streets are flooding, all this stuff. This is 2015. This is just a few months ago. I don't remember what.
It was August. August 8th, to be exact. Check the weather report.
Yeah, you remember this date, obviously.
I do. So,
what happened?
Our classes went off without a hitch. We closed for the day, and
we had 2 inches of rain, or
2 inches?
Maybe
or so.
I don't even remember. I got to check back. I'll link it up.
And it looks like there's a disproportionate slope behind our building, so all of that excess water that they didn't really account for came pouring in our back door and flooded our floors. Luckily, Kirk ended up being here training a client, and then he discovered it. We got all the water out that we could.
Yeah.
And so what we've had to do is we've had to talk to the landlords about the issue, and they ended up calling it an act of God. Was
the act of God clause?
The insurance.
Yeah, you love the act of God clause.
We can't cover it because it's act of God.
Right.
Right. Can't be in our schools, but he can be in our insurance policies. That's America. But I digress. So, we pushed on how we had to. We had extra product, and we knew how to replace the boards at this point. So, You know, we slap boards in, we slap boards out. Luckily, we set it up as a floating floor with a moisture barrier underneath. You know, we didn't skip any steps. We made sure we did everything right. And as a result, we were able to save most of the floor.
Yeah, it still looks beautiful. I didn't notice that you ever had a problem. Well, no, I did see it when you did have the problem, but now, seeing it now, it looks good. But there, you had, you know, through that experience, you had plenty of times to talk yourself out of this and say, and be a victim of the situation and not be, you know, an advocate of the situation, saying this is going to take us to a better place.
Oh yeah, I could have said right there. I could have day one. We don't have any members, and our floor already flooded. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, why are we here?
It would have been easy to shame spiral at that point, but I saw all the people come in the 3 hours before that happened. The people that were excited we were open, the people that wanted to be here as a part of our grand opening.
Yeah.
And it was something worth fighting for. So I haven't stopped.
Yeah, this is all worth fighting for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. What else? What else do you want to talk about? We've basically talked about a lot of different things here in the last 45 minutes.
Well,
is there anything that you want to, you know, that maybe we haven't talked about?
What I was gonna say is, before we got on the flooring,
okay,
I said goal setting.
Right.
Because that's what keeps me, you know. At first, it was get the doors open, like I said, and then, you know, it was start getting your members signed up. And then it was, okay, learn how to operate a business, dummy. Because there was definitely a month or two there where we were like, are we even taking people's money? Do we know what we're doing? So it took us a minute to get in the swing of things.
Right.
But now, you know, our goals are, you know, become profitable as a business.
Right.
And last month we were just on the wrong side of it. And they say normally for a new business, you know, you might spend 6 months to the first even 3 years in the red.
Yeah, I've heard this, and you know, they say most new businesses fail within the first 2 years. So if you can actually make it past 2 years, man, or even, you know, it's probably a bell curve. You know, most businesses probably are on the first 60 days or something like that, or first 6 months or something.
Yeah. Well, we've had the good fortune of having a strong following come in, and now
that's all due to you and Kirk and the image and your teachers. You have a bunch of team members that are well known. Joy is great. Joy is a legend.
Antoinette is fantastic.
Yeah,
She's a great yoga teacher. We've got a couple new ones who maybe aren't as well known yet, but they're already doing great things.
You provide a place where they can build their name and maybe help them change other people's lives. So there's a lot of this, full circle stuff. Is pretty cool.
It is. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
I'm excited about where I am.
So the goals, we were going back to the goals you said?
Yeah. So, you know, we're just on the other side of profitable. And now it's looking like our next set of goals is how can we expand our membership base? And, you know, we need to add amenities to our facility like, you know, childcare or more classes. Or, you know, have a dedicated room where we can have yoga going on at the same time as a group fitness class. You know, or more space for our personal trainers to train so that they can come in and they can make more money and then we can make more money.
Right.
So, you know, that's where we're at right now. Our next goal is how do we get bigger? And that's what we're doing.
Well, you know, there's a bunch of ways we can talk offline about that, you know, but these are all good problems to have.
Definitely.
You've reached, you know, elevation 5,000 on the climb to the mountain, and you can kind of see the clouds above the peak. Maybe not. Or you see the clouds and you don't know what's up above, right? But you're still moving and waking up.
I can definitely see which direction I want to move.
Yeah, that's up, right?
Yep.
Not back where you came from. All right, guys. Well, I mean, unless there's anything else you want to say or talk about.
No, I think that's it. You know, just find a reason to get out of bed, and whatever that reason is, work for it.
Whatever that is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. No one's reason is going to be the same as anyone else's.
Right. It takes us full circle, to coming back to you need to have a why, right?
Exactly.
What's your why? And your why was at the very beginning was spending money. You wanted to get some value from the money you spent. You felt the monetary loss in your wallet, right? So you wanted to use that, and now look where you are. So what's your why today? I think we kind of know the theme because it's been going on, but let's see what you think.
What's my why today? You know, honestly, I think my why today is, believe it or not, you may not because we go so far back, but believe it or not, I'm starting to get ready to start taking those next steps in life, you know.
Which are?
You know, thinking about having a family and owning a home and those sort of steps. And
okay, I see where you're going with this.
So my why right now is I want to set my life up to be successful so that I have something, to contribute to my children. Going for, like I said originally,
Right.
when we started out, we struggled coming up. It wasn't necessarily.
You're talking about when you were a kid, of
Yes,
course. This is your
yeah.
early childhood.
Yeah, we struggled when I was younger, and I don't want my children to have to see that.
Right.
I don't want them to see struggle like that. So, I want to be in a place where I feel comfortable to make that step. And that's what I'm working towards, is getting comfortable for that next step.
Yeah, that's a good why to have, man. Building a family and love and everything like that, and brings up some pretty good points and thoughts of, generally speaking, all this really doesn't matter in the sense of the money, because once you die, you can't take that with you, as everybody
Right.
says. But you sure as heck would pay money to come back to say I love you to some of your friends and family, right?
Definitely.
For an hour or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting you bring that up, family. That's a good why to have, man. And hopefully, we'll be. This is all going to pan out in a fun and interesting way. It's never going to be easy, like we talked about, but this is the right step.
Definitely, I think so.
All right, well, give these guys some of your social media plugs. How can they find you?
Okay, yeah. If you guys want to look for our gym, Stone Forge Fitness of Albuquerque, we are www.stoneforgefit.com.
Okay.
You can find us on Facebook under Stone Forge Fitness. Exactly.
Right.
Or our Twitter handle, which is the same as our website, Stone Forge Fit.
Okay.
Look for us there. You can also search the hashtag #GetFit.
Okay.
That's the hashtag we hashtag everything under. So
Oh,
people
nice.
can
Well,
find
you're
us.
also on Instagram too. Are you on Snapchat as well, or just Instagram?
No Snapchat, just Instagram. Yeah.
What's your handle there?
I think it's Stone Forge Fit as well.
Okay, so Stoneforge Fit, come check it out. Of course, guys, we'll link up some B-roll. We'll link up some descriptions below here. I'm pointing to the comments. What should we talk about what should we have our guys comment on below? What's their why?
Yeah, give us a comment about what your why is. What gets you out of bed in the morning? That's what we want to hear from you.
Everybody's why, of course, is different, so we'll see. Comment below, guys. What's your whys? There's no right or wrong answer here. And that's it for The Real Albuquerque. I'm Chris Martin. This is John Elder. We are at Stone Forge Fitness, and it'll be cool, man, to see where this thing grows and becomes. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video in a few years.
Sounds good.
You'll be on the front page of Men's Health, and
we can only hope.
Or the front page of Alibi. I don't know.
Right next to Channing Tatum, whose body's better.
Yeah.
Maybe someday. Maybe
get
someday.
real problems.
Hey, we have dreams, right? That's what they're there for.
That's goal 1,000, right?
That's the 1,000th step.
All right. See you guys later.